Hi everyone, this is Dr. Karen Hills Pruden, the career elevation expert for female middle managers seeking senior leadership positions. Today, Facebook Live is how to create data when there isn't any. So how to create data to make your case. I welcome you. Let's jump right in it. A few minutes late, had a few technical problems. So there are many reasons why you may need that data. A lot of times I found it useful when I am seeking a change or an addition to my department that requires funding or resources. Every department is competing for resources nowadays. And so you are competing against the next department. And so what businesses generally do is they look at the value added proposition of whatever it is that you're proposing, and they determine if that is the best use for the limited organizational dollars that you're requesting. For instance, we, with a prior employer, we had HR generalists that were doing everything. And what I mean by everything is that they were truly generalists. They were doing talent acquisition, they were doing employee relations, they were answering general questions about benefits and compensation instead of forwarding it over to the specialist. And it had come a time in that company's lifespan that a determination needed to be made whether or not we needed to have someone who concentrated solely on recruitment. So did we need recruiters? And so what I did was I created the data that justified the need for the creation of the recruiter and the senior recruiter position. And I did that through a number of steps. And so today I thought it would be good to just do a example of how you would walk through and talk through how to make the determination and what you would look at and consider to create the data that is needed to state your case. And so we're just going to jump right into it. And so today's example is, and I'm going to switch my camera over here, so you're going to move with me. So I'm going to lower it just a little bit. And So today's example is that the organization, there is a request for, let's do this. That's not it. There is a request for sales staff, and the sales staff is requesting that they want administrative support. And so the barrier is that there are no dollars available for the administrative support. Let's see if I can switch over. Let's see if I can switch this over. So the request is that the sales staff want administrative support. So the barrier is that there are no available budget dollars for the admin staff. That is something that's pretty common that we hear. There's no money for that. There's no money for that. Currently, we have 3 salespeople and no admin support. The desire is to have 3 salespeople and 1 administration person. So that is the desire. And so that's the scenario. Salespeople want admin. So what do you look at? So the first thing I would look at is the salaries of the sales staff. The sales staff, you have 3 individuals who are making a salary for the sales staff. So you have salesperson number 1 who is making $121,000, and then you have salesperson number 2 who's making $172,000, and then you have salesperson number 3 who is making $93,000, and that's annually. The number of hours is important for this scenario. So salesperson number 1 who is making $121,000 is working on an average about 62 hours weekly. salesperson number 2, who is making $172,000, is working about 53 hours weekly. And then you have salesperson number 3, who's making about $93,000 a year, is working about 44 hours weekly. So if you want to break it down to hourly rate, and we need to consider what the hourly rate is in order to use the information later. And so in terms of an hourly rate, for the salesperson number 1, who's making $121,000 a year, working 62 hours a week, the hourly rate is $37.15. So the salesperson number 2, who's making $172,000, who's working an average of 53 hours a week, is making about $62.40 an hour. And then salesperson number 3, who is making about $93,000 a year, is working about 44 hours a week, and that averages out to be about $40.64 an hour. And so there you have the hourly rate, because we'll need that a little later in this scenario. So salesperson number 1 make $121,000 a year, working an average of 62 hours a week, average hourly rate $37.15. Salesperson number 2, annual salary $172,000 a year, average hourly rate about 53 hours a week, average hourly rate $62.40. Salesperson number 3 makes about $93,000 a year. This person is working about 44 hours a week on an average, and so the equivalent average hourly rate is $40.64. So we have the average hourly rate for our salespeople. Now, what we did based on the salaries for the salespeople and their average hourly rate, we averaged that out. So your salespeople, between the 3 salespeople, the average hourly rate is $46.73. You see that? Now, what we needed to find out is how many hours of administrative work. Keep in mind the salespeople want administrative help. How many hours of administrative work are the salespeople working? So salesperson number 1 so what you're going to do is you're going to ask them to tally up how many hours. You're going to do is like a study. You're going to say, hey, I want you to keep track of the number of hours that you are doing for admin work for this 1 week. And then I want you to turn it over to me. So for 1 week, everyone is it's like a time study. For 1 week, everyone's going to tally up the number of hours that they're working. And then they're going to extrapolate the number of hours that they use for administrative duties. So salesperson number 1 during the week of the pilot said that they completed 11 hours of administrative work. Salesperson number 2 said, Karen, I did 9 hours of administrative work during the week of the pilot. And then salesperson number 3 said, I did 12 hours of administrative work during the pilot. So what I want you to do is, I want you to multiply what the average hourly rate is of the salesperson times the number of hours that they use for administrative duties for that pilot week. And so for salesperson number 1, 11 times 37.15 is 408.65. For salesperson number 2, 9 hours of administrative work times 62.40, which is the average hour salary rate, is 561.60. And then salesperson number 3, 12 hours of administrative work times the average hourly rate of $40.64 equals $487.68. So between your 3 salespeople, out of sales, the number of hours that they are not doing sales for that 1 week for that study is 32 hours. So for that 1 week, between your 3 salespeople, they spent 32 hours doing administrative work. Not only that, because based on the amount of money that you're paying the salespeople, those 32 hours that the salespeople were doing administrative work is equal to, based on their average hour salary, average hourly rate, is equal to $1,457.93. Now, do you see how we got that? This is their average, this is their salary rate, times the number of hours that they work for administrative duties. So this is the number of hours that they are not selling, that your salespeople are not selling. So 32 hours for all three of the salespeople times what each of those individuals' average hourly rate is equals $1,457.93. So that's how much you pay for them to do admin work for that 1 week based on their salary. You get that? Now, here's where the meat and potatoes is. This is how you state your case. So, remember the 32 hours for the pilot that you did for them to record their time. And how many weeks is it in the year? So if they average 32 hours of administrative work, and it's 52 weeks in the year, so 32 times 52 is 1,664 hours that you're estimating that your salespeople are doing administrative work. Keep in mind, so that 1,664 administrative hours times the salespeople average hourly rate, which is $46.73. So how much money are your salespeople, how much money are you paying your salespeople to do administrative work based on their salary? 1,664 times 46.73 equals $77,759. Now, this is critical. Your salespeople are working administrative work, and their administrative work averaging 32 hours a week, averaging about 1,664 annually, is you're paying them $77,759 a year to do administrative work. That is things that they are doing that is not selling. Their expertise is to sell. Keep in mind, their expertise is to sell. So they are not selling. They are typing up the contracts and doing different things like that. And so you want to keep that in mind. So you are paying them $77,759. So I also want you to look into what is the average admin hourly rate for your company. For this company, the average admin hourly rate is $17.50. So your average admin hourly rate is $17.50. And so I want you to multiply $17.50 times 1,664, which is the average estimate number of hours that the salespeople are conducting annually. And so that equals to $29,120. Okay, so you're paying your salespeople at their salary $77,759 at their salary to do admin work, when your company's average hourly rate for an administrative person is $17.50, and you could be paying $29,120 for an administrative person to be doing the work. Your salespeople could be selling, which is what their area expertise is, instead of doing the administrative work. So, and you even have a leftover of $48,639. So do you see what this says? It says that you are paying your salespeople, your highly paid salespeople, you are paying them $77,759 a year to not sell but do admin work, when you can be paying an administrative specialist $29,120 to do administrative work, which is what the administrative specialists specialize in. Salespeople specialize in selling. Administrative people specialize in doing administrative work. So this is how you articulate your value. So before you state your case, let's just look at what your salespeople are doing, even though they are saddled with the administrative work. So sales performance. So for 2019, there was a forecast of $501,000. For 2019, your actual salespeople actually brought in $686,000. They made $185,000 over what you forecast for them to make, over their goals. So the forecast for this year is for 2020 is $601,200. What that says to me is that if your salespeople can come over and beyond what your goals were for sales by $185,000, if you gave them back that additional 32 hours a week that they're spending on administrative duties, then they can far exceed, maybe even double what you forecast, if they are allowed to just concentrate on selling instead of administrative work. And so what are the observations here? The observations is that your salespeople are exceeding the expectations even though they are saddled with administrative duties. You are paying the salespeople more to do administrative work than you would if you just allocated the funds to hire an administrative person. If you did not have your salespeople doing administrative duties such as typing up your contract, then they can make more money for the company because they can concentrate on selling, which is what their area expertise is selling. And so what you want to possibly make a recommendation is you want to remove the administrative duties from the salespeople so that they can concentrate on which is what they do best, which is selling. And the money is already there. So here's your justification for an administrative specialist. You want to remove the admin duties from the sales because it most likely will yield a return on investment greater than what they're already doing. They already exceeded their sales expectations by $185,000, and that's with them doing administrative duties. Think about what they could do if they didn't have to do administrative duties. You also want to, the sales will continue to, you can expect the sales to continue to exceed when they are not saddled with the administrative duties. And now the company is no longer overpaying for administrative work because the company is paying on an average of $46.73 for a position for duties that they could be paying $17.50 for. The $48,901.16 of sales salary can now be used back into sales. And so the recommendation is to hire an administrative person who works no more than 30 hours a week. And that's how you can state your case, by creating your own data. You have to think creatively in terms of what numbers do you need for your data source in order to create your own numbers. A lot of times we have various reports within the organization and it gives us a lot of information, but there will be those times where you do not have a report that gives you what you need. This is a justification for a hire. And a lot of times you have to prove the return on investment for that hire. In other words, a lot of times that hire needs to be able to make the company money before the company will approve spending the money for the hire. So you need to be able to show that we are leaving money on the table if we do not make this hire. I am Dr. Karen Hills Pruden. I am the career elevation expert for female middle managers seeking senior leadership positions. This is just one example of how you can create your own data to state your case. I appreciate your hanging with me. Thank you. Goodbye.